we may as well just have a drink and hang out while we can. So yeah, I think a lot of people, there's a lot of fear in a lot of people, and I can completely understand that. Like, I can just go home. If I want to go home, I can just go home. And with Australia being a NATO-aligned country, you know, I don't need a visa to get into most countries. So I can just go to wherever if I need, or I can just go home, where this is where these people live and they can't leave. And yeah, of course, some won't leave. Like, they don't want to leave. Woken up because the city is being shelled that we're in. You can see in the distance.
As soon as the declaration. There you go. Oh, that's a missile. That's
500 on the morning, Thursday, 24th of February, from Kramatorsk. We have just started receiving fire. You can hear it coming in. You could feel it. That's what woke me up. And then, yeah, we'll see. So it's, the war has probably just started. Anti-aircraft fire right now. We're seeking cover. Which direction is that? South way? This is AA fire right now. Yeah, we're gonna get to the car. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, let's move. Hello, darling. How are you?
no. Fuck you.
Can't see. So, 2022, hey? I don't know if many people have had a bigger, more life-changing year than me. Maybe for the good, maybe for the bad, I don't know. That sounded like a bragging point, but it wasn't. It changed my life in many ways. I started this year as the best man at my best mate's wedding, and that was such a incredible honour. Jacob and Jess, I wish you all the best for forever. And I will say I did a fucking good speech at that wedding, and I'm really happy. And I'm so happy to be there. It's such an incredible thing. And when he asked me, 6 months prior, I just couldn't believe it, and it was unbelievably special. It meant so much to me. And then I was lost in what I wanted to do. I wanted to become a conflict photographer, video. I don't even know. It's just sort of what I thought. Shit, I think I could do this, but I don't know. So I got on a flight. I rang some friends and whatever who'd worked in spaces similar to this, maybe not doing media, but in dangerous countries and dangerous travel and things like that. And then I just got on a plane to Ukraine in early February. I just got a flight, and I think if I've learned anything, sometimes you just have to jump in the deep end and fucking do it. And I landed in Kiev. This is well before the war, and had nothing. I didn't know shit. I had no idea where I was. I had no idea the history of Ukraine. I had no idea of anything. And I just started. Sometimes you just have to start. And then from Kiev, a few days later, I then made my way to Kharkiv, which has become a big center point for this war, especially beginnings of this war. And it's funny because it's now like a household name, Kharkiv, but it wasn't then. No one knew where it was. No one even probably knew Kiev. And I was in this smallish city, 1 million people sort of size city, which is the same size as my city, that I really fell in love with. I fell in love with Kharkiv. It was a great city. And I often say, Ukraine has its problems. It had problems before the war, and it's got massive problems now with the war. Every country has its problems. But I know shit felt safer in Kharkiv than at 2 o'clock in the morning out on the piss than I do on bloody Heinley Street, which is like the local main street where you drink beers in Adelaide. Honestly. And I met some amazing people there, some of which are now on the front lines in the trenches fighting. So those who have no personal connection to this are full of shit. I've got some dear friends fighting and some dear friends who became refugees. Anyway, I digress. I spent some time in Kharkiv, then I went to Kramatorsk, which is in the Donbass area, and that's where the most sort of life-changing moment for me is when that bloody missile fell over me. And dickhead me, it's one of those hypersonic bloody missiles, idiot. But now I know the difference. But then I don't know bloody Russian missile types. Anyway, yeah, that happened, and I went from 20,000 followers to 80,000 or whatever. I think I've lost like 5,000, 6,000 now, but in 2 hours, something like just ridiculous. And that was wild. And my YouTube went from 2,000 to 70,000 or something. And then people were asking me about this war and what's happening. And I went from a fucking nobody, I still am a nobody, to that. And one of the biggest things for me this year was dealing with a new level of hate. I don't get haters on the internet. I don't know. I do get it. I do get it when someone has like scammed someone or hurt someone or whatever. And, some people will say that I've done that, but I can guarantee you I haven't. And there's been good people up high look into operations and say, no, he's never done any of that. But making up absolute bullshit to try and bring me down, it's just tall poppy. But dealing with hate and dealing with that amount is crazy. I say to people, I say like I think maybe, let's say 1 in 100 people are just fucking assholes on the internet. The average person on Instagram might have 500, 600, 700 followers. So you've got 5, 6 just assholes who, doesn't matter what you do, you could be the man that cures cancer and they'll still fucking think you're an asshole and hate you. But then when you're talking in the tens, close to 100,000, you might have hundreds of those people in your ear having a go at you, and that's something I was not used to. And because I really give a shit about this stuff, it really did affect me. And it still does. I see some people have some, opinions, and everyone has their right to that. But then, like, an opinion's one thing, but a personal attack is different. And that's something I've really had to learn this year. And I haven't learned it. I haven't mastered it all of how to put up with that stuff. But anyway, a lot of people, I think, saw me blow up online and were just like, fuck that guy, and grabbed at any straws they could have of anything to do it. And that it's still been difficult. I still struggle with that. Anyway, that happened in Ukraine for the first trip, and then the second trip I went back in with a guy who had a lot planned, but then nothing was planned. But that was a good trip. I met some good people and whatever. Him and me aren't in contact anymore, sadly. And then, I went for a third trip, then a fourth trip into Ukraine, I believe, and spent 6 months there all up, and am just beginning my routes, I guess, in becoming a journalist, a conflicts journalist. I don't know what you'd call me. Whatever it is that I do. I hope this is focused. And I guess that is what I do, and it's something I've fallen in love with. It's something I care about, and I'm guessing I'm finding my own way of talking to people and trying to bring people something different. But it's just been a massive change in my life. And I guess the only big change for a lot of people that significant might be having kids or winning the lotto. I definitely have won the lotto because I've spent every cent I've bloody ever earned traveling. But it's really been something, and I think I'm so lucky to have found something that I feel gives me a purpose a second time. If you've watched any of my stuff where I talk about my diagnosis with the cancer in my brain, I talk about the sense of loss and the sense of loss of purpose, because all I wanted to do was be a soldier in the army. That was me. That was my career. And that went away in a second. That went from me sitting in an office, me sitting in a waiting room, going in an office with a doctor, and it's gone. That dream, that everything is just gone. No matter what I did, nothing could bring that back. And I lost purpose. I had no idea what to do. And then I feel like I'm so lucky to have found a second purpose in life, and taking a risk and doing that. And I am, sorry, hairs on my face. And I am so lucky for that. I think some people just don't find their purpose in this life, and that's so hard. It's so hard. And I've been lucky enough to find it twice, and this is what I want to continue doing while I guess I can. So this year, I just can't thank you guys enough. And if I'm, struggling to keep up with some stuff or whatever, that's because this is all new, As humans, I don't think humans are meant to deal with this many people. And it's a bit of a brain overload when there's tens of thousands of people, who watch you or whatever. Like imagine doing a talk and 10,000 people rock up. Like, holy shit. It's wild, and it's something that has changed my life for the better in many ways, more stressful in a lot of other ways. So if I ever just disappear, that's why. But I just can't thank you guys enough for this, and going through hard times and sympathetic times with me. Like, I don't know how some journos do it with seeing dead guys and whatever, and being like, we're the enemy, fuck them. And I don't think that. Like a young man or a girl is still a young man and a girl. It's someone's brother, someone's sister, someone's mum or dad or daughter or son, and that affects me. Like, maybe I'm just a softie, and people are more experienced and more used to it than me, but I don't want to lose that sense of empathy either, because I've seen guys who have lost some of that, and I don't like how that looks. I still want to be incredibly empathetic to people who are going through shit, no matter who they are, and I think I'm learning to be more of that as I go, and seeing how other people live. I don't know my next step next year. I really don't. I'm sorry if I have no idea. I still want to go to Afghanistan, but it's hard being, a combatant at one point there. That's difficult. But we'll figure it out, and we'll figure it out together. And again, I just can't thank you guys enough for changing my entire existence and who I am and everything. Even if I quit right now, I think I'd be very proud of what I did. And I really don't think there's much else in my life that I could say, just wait, let me fix this up. I don't think that there's much else in my life that I'm just absolutely so proud of myself for, and I really am in this, because I took a big step. I put myself out there for criticism and hate and whatever, and you guys came through and helped me. And yeah, it's a really big thing for me. I can't thank you guys enough for that and sticking with me, and my friends who personally were there and like physically there and whatever, and you guys on the internet to call on. And most thing I hate about this internet is I know each number there who supports me, does whatever, is a person behind a keyboard or a phone somewhere in the world, and realistically I'm not going to be able to meet you, all of you, and give you a bloody hug and have a beer with you and say g'day. But trust me, you're in my heart, and I really wish I could do that, because you've changed everything for me. Anyway, thank you, all of you, for 2022. I can't thank you enough. I can't say how wild of a ride it's been, how the highest highs and the lowest lows, hugs and tears and everything in between. So thank you guys so much. Here's for another year. Look after your health. I hope you are healthy, and do everything to look after yourself, because I let myself go in my health, and I'm still trying to get it back on track, and it takes a long time. So yeah, do that, because you'll enjoy everything in your life so much more. Be there for your friends, be there for your family, even if you don't want to be. If I can't be fucked going out for dinner, do it, because life ends at some point and bad news comes. I didn't think that would ever happen, and then I got diagnosed with this, or people who have been killed. I didn't think that whatever. But I'm just rambling now. But thank you so much for 2022. We'll see you in 2023. Look after yourselves. Stay safe. Stay smiling, and say good day to me at some point. If you ever see me, never shy away. Please don't. And I can't wait to see where you and I go next. Okay, thank you very much. Look after yourselves, and Happy New Year's and Merry Christmas.